Hello everyone. In today's video I'm going to talk about one of the looping constructs in Mathcad Prime, the while loop. You are going to learn how to insert the while operator in a Mathcad worksheet, how the while loop works, and I am going to give you some tips that you must keep in mind when working with this construct. So let's get started. The way to think of the while loop is as the loop to be used when you don't know how many iterations something will take. As a simple example of this idea, I will write a program that fills an array with values of a function. Let's go ahead and define our function. I'm going to call the function f of x. I'm going to assign the function definition to it, and we're going to say that our function is x times sine of 1 over x. So this is the function definition that we will be using. We are going to use x values 0, 0.1, 0.2 and so on, and we want to stop filling the array when the function value exceeds 0.75. That's where we want to stop. Let's go ahead and start creating the program. First I will create a variable definition. I'm going to call my variable vals, and we need to insert the programming operator. On the first line I will start by creating a vector of values, and I will assign the first value to be 0. So let's go ahead and type in the name of the vector, use the vector index, and we can go ahead and assign the value 0. On the next line I will create a variable definition for I, which will be our counter variable, and this variable will start from the value of 1. Next we need to create the while loop. To insert the while operator, go to the Math tab, go to Programming, and select the while operator. As an alternative, you can type the word while from the keyboard and then use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+J to convert it to a programming operator. Simply typing the word while is meaningless to Mathcad. In the placeholder to the right of while, we need to place a test condition or expression, anything that evaluates to either true or false. In this example, we will type in f of I over 10 because we said that we want x to take values from 0, 0.1, 0.2. And we also said that the values that are returned by the function, we don't want them to exceed 0.75. So we put in the condition in the while loop. In the lower placeholder, I need to put in the expression or set of expression that I wish to evaluate while the condition stated previously is true. In my case, I will need two expressions. The first one, I will add the results to the vector of results. So we're going to say here v of I, we're going to use local definition, and we're going to say that we want to add the value calculated to the vector of values. On the next line, I will define my second expression that needs to be evaluated, and in this case we want to assign I with a new value. So I'm going to say I is I plus 1. We're going to increment the value of I with 1. Finally, we can tell the program what it should return. So we need to add another line here, and I'm going to type in the word return. I'm going to hit the Ctrl+J key combination to convert it to an operator, and we're going to type in the name of the vector, v. Clicking outside and evaluating the variable definition will give us the vector of values that was calculated with the program. The while loop works as follows. First of all, the condition in the while loop is checked. If the condition is false, the execution of the program moves on to the next line after the entire while loop, and none of the expressions contained in the body of the while loops are executed. If the condition is true, on the other hand, the statements in the body of the while loop are executed once. At this point, the condition is checked again after each iteration through the body of the loop until it is false, and at which point execution picks up after the body of the entire loop. Now that we have an idea of how to use the while operator and how the logic behind it works, I'd like to give you a few tips that you should pay attention to when working with this operator. To do that, I have prepared a couple of examples that will demonstrate that. In the first case, we have a similar program definition to the one above. So right now, when the while loop gets executed, the value of x is checked against 1. The value of x is 0. It's less than 1, so we go on to the body of the while loop, and I is increased by 1. Then the while loop gets executed again, but the value of x never changed, so this loop goes on forever. In the second case, we have the while loop, we have the condition I should be bigger than 5, we have the I definition, so I starts from 10, and in the body of the while loop, we increment I by 1 and we assign that value to x. So the while loop gets executed, I is increased every time, not like in the previous case. But the problem here is that I already starts from a value higher than 5. So incrementing that value with 1 every time will never make the condition to be false. So in this case, again, the program will never be able to exit the while loop and we end up with an infinite loop. So pay attention to these situations when you're creating your programs. I will stop here for now. You have all the information needed to get you started. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.